Welcome back to Shift Your Shit, Kill Your Fear. My name is Marielle, and thank you for being here for you today. We're going to get right into it. I have an extraordinary human with me today. This is Candace Barr, and I don't know if I can do justice to explaining her, but she's an incredible businesswoman, entrepreneur, and the most, I believe, fascinating thing about Candace is that her mind is so powerful, and when you are in her presence, which I don't have to say because you will feel it in a moment, you get activated. And with thinking about what to bring to you all today, because as you know, we're not here for the fluff, we're here to get right to it. And I intend that you leave feeling a better, clearer, more free version of you. And I don't know what better topic than to let Candace get us so activated on than money, because money is energy. And there's so many clients and people I work with, money is always the topic. The money blocks, the money fears, and the way that Candace just allows and activates people with a whole new way of thinking and being in energy of money. I am just so excited for her to share about how we shift our shit with this thing we call money. That word is loaded. And Candace, what I want to start off with is, and for everyone here listening, you can always find really cool information by asking the questions of what does a word bring up for you. So just to dive right into it, Candace, when you think of the word money, what comes to your mind?
Freedom.
So everyone just hear that for a moment, because also going, what came up for you versus, again, Candace's powerful mind, because again, her money mindset is incredible, that is freedom. And Candace, if you can elaborate on that for all of us, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah. So first, thank you for having me on. And, we're talking about one of my favorite topics. And so when I say freedom, when you have money or when you are, financially abundant, you have options. You are able to help who you want. You are able to go where you want. You are able to purchase what you like. You are able to take care of your financial responsibilities. You're able to do a lot of things that you decide to do. So options, possibilities, freedom, that allows you to do so.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And what is one outlook that you look at money that shapes your reality? Like what is either a mantra or a way of thinking, looking, and seeing that can help people shift their money? Because again, we're taught all wrong, and about it, that what is some of those nuggets that you can share with us that we'll really be able to start seeing it, right? If nothing changes, nothing changes. We can't just wake up the next day and be like, okay, money's great. We have all the subconscious programming. How do we shift that shit? And taking not only just the changing the narrative of the mind, but the actual actions that we can take to really change this.
Well, I think it comes down to feeling deserving of it. I believe that if you are born, if you are breathing, if you are here, you are deserving to be in abundance. I believe that's in the Bible. I'm not religious at all, but I believe that's in the Bible. There's a lot of books on this. If you're here, it is our birthright to be in abundance on every level: financial abundance, health abundance, spiritual abundance, whatever abundance you like to have. That is your birthright. I believe that with all my heart and soul. So if you feel deserving of it, and if you believe only purely because you're here, not because you worked hard for it, not because you did X, Y, Z, you suffered. Suffering has nothing to do with abundance. Again, like you said, everyone, and I said this, everyone's been taught wrong. You do not have to suffer to be abundant. You do not have to suffer to have a lot of money. You don't have to suffer to be prosperous. That was BS that was sold to you. Simply because you are here, you are allowed to live a large life.
Yeah. And I think too many people are stuck on the idea that if I work harder, I'll get more money. Like everyone's playing so small in their mind of like,
I gotta cut you off. I gotta cut you off on that because it's so funny you're bringing this up, because I thought about this earlier today and I didn't even know what questions you were going to ask me. If a lot of people work hard and they're not rich and they're not abundant. So if working hard brought everyone money, everyone would be a multimillionaire.
Yeah. Especially with this hustle culture, right? Like you would think like, wow, like if anything, that's really the problem is people are just go, go, go. And again, maybe seeing the reward, maybe not, but is it even worth your, being not feeling regulated, not feeling enough? I mean, when is enough enough? And so the idea that it can actually, if we allow to receive more, is really fascinating. I remember you saying something with me that one of the biggest income years for you was a year that you were just more goofing around and playing and not
I
so
was
much
partying my ass off.
Yeah. So look at that narrative shift. People are like, work harder. And I've heard that from numerous people, that when I actually was enjoying myself more abundance came. And again, abundance isn't just money. Again, we're talking more about that today, but just in general, again, taught all wrong, that like it has to be hard, you have to suffer, and all that as well, then letting it just occur. I'd love to know a personal story for you that shows this. So we can really, again, continue to see the possibilities. Because again, if we're just in our own mind thinking about these things, we can't see, we're just having this dialogue. The mind only knows what it knows. And that's why it's so important. And you're such a testament to that too, to be around people that expand your mind. And not only that, but your money mind, right? Do you really want to be in conversations of lack and hear that over and over again, then have that be creating your reality? Or do you want to be around people that experience abundance, again, even beyond money, but like life is like working for them? You want to be around that energy. So if you can share something that comes to mind that represents this kind of experience.
I want to share with you, the beginning of my life, teens, I started working when I was, I think, 13, 14. So I started working really young, and I've been working, I'm 42 now. I've been working ever since. But, there's different levels of work. There's different seasons of hard work. Sometimes it's more mental work than physical hard work. And, it's a lot of alignment, right? So I was working, like everyone else, really hard for a very, very long time. And then someone turned me on to Abraham Hicks. This is why I fully believe in mindset coaching. Coaches are everything. I mean, I've had some great coaches in my life, and that they helped catapult me mentally so far. But when I started listening to Abraham Hicks and really listening to it, things don't have to take long. Things do not have to take long. It did not take long at all. I think it took 3 to 6 months. My life looked completely different from when I first started listening to her, and I still listen to her. But I aligned with it. Something clicked. I allowed it in. I allowed a different conversation in my mind. I allowed a different energy in my aura, different concepts, different ideas. It's okay for things to be different than what you were taught. We were all taught wrong. So, and just being open to bigger, being open to a possibility of more, of things being different. Again, it doesn't say anywhere it's required that things have to suck. It doesn't say anywhere that it's required that it has to be hard. And so I allowed it to be easy, but I also allowed different concepts in and different ideology.
Yeah. So what are, if we could go into Candace's mind, even right now, when she's thinking, again, I love, again, that extras of money and then it equals freedom. And I hope everyone takes that with them. What would your life start looking differently if you were to attach that? But what other ways of thinking, happen? Like we said, it changed things in my mind changed. What kind of narratives live in Candace's mind now that bring that flow in?
I fully, and it's not new concepts. I'm sure people have heard this, but it's like, living, and I have coached other people like this, living in rich Candace. Even if you have $1 to your name, even if you had a penny to your name right now as you're listening to this, what would rich you do? What decisions would rich you make? Would rich you worry about a certain bill? Probably not. Probably not. Because you're able to throw money at a lot of problems. So, and they're not problems anymore. You really want what's currently now big problems. You really want them to become small problems, right? So think of your future self, and future self does not have to be very far away. As I said earlier, what decisions, what actions, what clothing, what food choices, everything would rich you be doing right now? And honestly, act in those steps. act in that favor, because that will make it fast track to your reality even faster.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, again, even to, I think of, Neville Goddard, it's like living in the end. That is what that is. If people have heard that, it's, again, being in that. But Candace, again, all the time people say, well, that sounds great, but again, if I don't have money and you're saying go make a rich choice, how do I take an action that aligns to that? And what would you say to that?
So again, reality, and as a lot of people know, people die every second. Reality changes second by second. So if people can die every second, or something tragic can happen every second, as the news loves to highlight to us, why can't good things happen that quickly as well? It can, and it does. It's just not on the news. I love, a good fast tracker is, and again, these are not new thoughts. I didn't make this up. It's been told throughout the years. Write down 20 points of gratitude every morning, every night. I do it all the time. I wrote it down yesterday. I wrote it down this morning. I'm grateful that I even woke up this morning. I'm grateful that I have, a functioning body and mind. I'm grateful that I'm able to breathe air. I'm grateful that, be grateful that you are able to step from the couch to the door. Because I actually know a few people who are not able to do that.
Yes. Yes. Amen to that.
And they would give anything. They would give anything to be able to walk 3 steps.
Yeah. Yeah. I even think about too, right? The idea if you're waking up and going like, oh, I need to make money, how to make money. I mean, what a gift that you can be in your being and in your mind to even go, that's my desire today versus like, I hope that I can like walk from my house to my car, and feel good in my body. I mean, we really forget the abundance already, again, beyond money is that if you're in a state to even be worrying about money, it's like, what a gift, what a pleasure that is. It's kind of an interesting concept. And, again, something I love that you speak about, I know me and you have spoke a lot about is that, we're all addicted to something. And it's like, it's addicted to worry, addicted to the current version of you or a past version of you, addicted to, the fear, the doubt, all that. And who would you be without those concerns? So again, when you living in the end of I'm this rich version of me, it's kind of funny to have the conversation of, what would I worry about next? If I had all the money in the world, if my mind's so used to just being addicted to something of, not enough, or I don't have this thing, it's like, what would be next? So I think everyone just need to take a moment. If money wasn't a thing, what next thing would you, cling to? And it kind of is a comedy in that we are in this experience to be taught that we need to be in fear of something. And again, money just seems to be one of those biggest things that bring to light. And I want to share a story about Candace because I found it, and I would love for you to elaborate on it, Candace, because I find it so fascinating. And, again, the idea of being generous to others, and what came through the other day for me personally with hearing some of these stories from people is that, giving money is circulating. Like we always say, like, giving away or spending, but really it's circulating light in the world. And again, I think you do such a beautiful job of that and such generosity. And the idea of, when we go out and about to tip people, and again, we could step into our fears. Well, I don't have a lot of money, so why would I tip more? And we kind of just, we kill that and we go, no, do that again. What would the rich version do? They would tip, right? Or whatever it may be for people. And something that I found so interesting that you had shared is the idea that even if you had bad service at a restaurant and someone's like, oh, I'm not going to tip well. And can you actually share what your response was and what you did from that?
Yeah, I actually had that happen. I went out with a friend, or an acquaintance that I have not seen in many years, not too long ago. And, I always look at how people treat wait staff. That tells me a lot about the person. And we were at a very nice restaurant in Los Angeles. We weren't getting amazing service, but I didn't really care. It didn't really matter. And she goes, oh, well, I guess someone's not getting a tip. And this is a very well-to-do woman, by the way. And I corrected her immediately. And I said, oh, I actually give them more when it's not good service. And she's like, why is that? And I said, because I'm kind of shifting the energy around what's going on. So if someone's rude, if a waiter or whatever is rude, or just we're not getting the service that you thought you should get or anything like that. I don't know. I just like to, I've always shifted it around, and I'll probably always give them more. And that just always made sense to me. And she thought that was interesting. But yeah, I don't treat people according, I set the tone. Someone else doesn't set the tone. So I'm going to I'm going to tip very well. I even tip, and I've been doing this for years. I even tip flight attendants.
Yeah.
Because they don't actually make a lot of money. And to be a flight attendant, you have to do a lot more than just give people peanuts and water.
Yeah.
And people don't know that. And so, you have to be generous. I've always been very generous. Even when I didn't have anything, I was generous. And even before I knew the laws and how that even worked, I was just always generous because it always has come back. It always comes back. Someone said it to me a long time ago, their great grandparents used to say, if you have $1 to your name, go buy an ice cream. Because that makes you happy, and the energy of happiness, the energy of joy. Money is an energy. It's an energy. People need to understand this. It's a high vibrational, high frequency energy. So if you can get into joy, get into happiness, get into thankfulness, get gratefulness, all the high vibe feelings, the feeling of being rich, the feeling of being grateful. All you have to do is get into the feeling. You don't have to make money. You attract money.
Yeah. Yeah. See, everyone listening, do you get it now? What I'm saying is that Candace is here to activate people, especially I believe a specialty is the money. And I mean, yeah, just wow, what an energy shift of that. And again, like the idea of spending money on yourself, even too.
Also, I have to talk about this.
Yes,
I never use the word spending. I don't
Yeah.
spend money on anything. Everything is an investment.
Can you expand on that?
So paying bills is an investment. So paying my cell phone bill, that's an investment. Getting my nails done, that's an investment. Getting my hair done, that's an investment. Going on vacation, that's an investment. Buying a pair of shoes, that's an investment. All these things are investing is an investment. All these things are investments. I have never spent money in my life. I've always invested money.
Wow, beautiful. And again, that's the thing that we're forgetting is that if you have a business, which I think this mindset world attracts, and that's what I find so interesting is people are like, well, I'm really business focused. So the mindset or having a coach or taking care of my mental health. And I know me and you led a beautiful networking event and had speakers at it. And the common theme was people's health being jeopardized because they were in the grind and not taking care of those narratives. And that's why it's so, I wish for everyone that they would focus on this as their number one job, business work, and they would see the shifts in their business shift instead of the other way around. And again, so your mindset about everything is number one. And again, how you're also treating yourself with money and like you said, that it's an investment. All of it's an investment. So that was your number one job. How am I investing in my business, meaning me? Because your business is also mirroring you. That's why you're seeing self-help, your business. And I know if you're hearing this and you have a business, it's showing you all that internal stuff. It's an awakening like no other. And so if you're not training that mind, if you're not working on that mindset, I don't know how you would succeed. What are your thoughts on the idea of business?
I would encourage everyone, it's, as you were saying, and as everyone says, it starts with the mind. That's a true story. So if you need to fix that mindset, if you're not where you want to be, or you don't know how to do these things, because there's a lot of noise around it, go to the old school people. I love Reverend Ike. I have introduced a lot of people to Reverend Ike. He has passed away now, but he was in the forefront of mindset back in the day. Reverend Ike, Dale Carnegie, Dr. Joe Vitale, Neville Goddard, Elmer Lockey Jr., Francis Shin. Francis?
Yeah.
Go to the old school. This is all free. Stop playing games on your phone. Stop doing weird bullshit on your phone and start listening to free shit on YouTube that'll change your life.
Yes. Yeah. Again, nothing's new that people are talking about now. It's all, it's been there since, again, we can go back to, I think there's this new shift occurring where people are actually talking about, the Bible, Torah, but not from religion. Religion is, and again, a lot of the subconscious stuff is going to come from religion, right? It's very fear, very controlling, there's a lot of beliefs that get installed again with people that I also see. That is a lot of that, being the good girl, you don't make the wrong decision, your sins, like bad. And now it's more of
Mm.
just seeing that there's so much energy, even in the frequency of words from, Torah, Bible, and again, the beginning of time, and metaphorically too, that again, how many times, it was over 300 times, don't quote me on that, about saying, do not fear, really, like, God, universe, creator, something bigger, does not want you to fear. That is not the point. But a lot of constructs, again, religious places, want you to fear. And why? Because what does fear do? Fear controls you. So people, that's why businesses, that their advertisement, right? It's the fear mongering of like, you need this new product. Like, oh my gosh, I do. I didn't know I even needed that. And now if I don't have it, then I'm more fearful. I mean, even too, Kenneth, you speak so well about fear. And I think, to start wrapping it up is, I believe there's an activation coming through you to even a fear, like to, how you see fear and how you relate to it, because you, again, with your mind, it's really, really cool to witness.
Yeah, I don't feed into fear. I mean, I think feeding into fear is so exhausting. I see a lot of other people do it. I find that it looks exhausting. It feels exhausting. I want nothing to do with that. That doesn't run me. So if everyone wants to be afraid of something, I promise you, I'm not going to be afraid of that thing or that person or that. If people are addicted to worrying. They are addicted to it. Start getting addicted to something good for you. Get addicted to betterment. Get addicted to mindset. Get addicted to attracting money, not making money, attracting money. Get addicted to self-care. Get addicted to other stuff. You have to get really good at being clear for yourself. You have to get very good at pushing away the noise, because we got a lot of noise come at us 24/7, 7 days a week. It doesn't let up. That's not for no reason. It's a very smart machine they have going on. And you can unsubscribe to all that noise, and you can dictate and determine where you want your life to be. It can be, you have to choose your hard, right? Things are going to be hard. Some things are going to suck. Choose your hard. It's going to be the hard that they choose for you or the hard that you choose yourself. Because if you keep going after the hard thing, the difficult thing, shit's not going to be difficult anymore. Stop being afraid of things. You're going to die anyway.
Yeah. Right. There's this saying, the idea of you're scared or you're not going to get that, Yeah. When we transition, like, you'll come back and you'll have a time to do it again. What are we really fearing? And that is a question I like to leave people with: is what are you really fearing? Because a lot of times people will share something and they think that's what it is, but there's always this underlying, piece to it, and to really uncover that, even with money, it's like, what are you really fearing? Well, if I don't have money, really your mind's going, I'm going to die. And I just, experienced, I feel like it's useful to share. I was at a store the other day and I was about to pay for someone because their card wasn't working. And there's a gentleman even behind me and he beat me to it because I was going to pay with my card, and just started handing the cashier money. And I can tell you from his energy, I knew he didn't have a lot. I think that goes back to the beginning. I get Kenneth using this too. There can be millionaires, billionaires out there. They still have money stuff and they still are afraid of it all dropping. And so it's not about how much money you have. I've seen the most kind people with money that barely have any to their name, and they're ready to jump in and do that, And so of course I'm like, well, then I want to pay for you. And it was this like love train. It was so beautiful. And I think I share this because at the end of the day, if you had no money, there would be somebody, even maybe a stranger, let alone maybe someone in your family or whatever, that would absolutely at least let you have money, and then you could give it back to them at one point. But like, you're not alone here. And I think that's really where we go in the deeper mind, is that we're alone, and that yes, if you were on an island and you ran out of money, then you would die because no one around you. But that's just not like what you say. If we live in abundance, we also live around people that are also living in abundance. There are people that are, thriving more than we know, that are here to be of support.
We live in incredible abundance. We are in an incredible abundant era and time right now. We live in a super abundant country. We are very, very blessed. We're very, very blessed. And I think that more people need to start focusing on that. Your life will probably be better if you start focusing on your blessings than what you don't have. I have to share with you, I saw this video. It really moved me, almost brought me to tears. And I'm not a crier. It was this kid in Africa. I think this missionary or someone went to go see the tribe or see what was going on. And this boy had to be 9. He might have been 7 or 9. I don't really know. But they were having him blow his nose, and huge amounts of blood was coming out of his nose. He was coughing up blood. and just, but like his eyes were just so full of joy and hope. And it's like, we're able to help people like that when you are financially abundant. You can do a lot. Maybe you don't want to actually go to those places, but you can send money to organizations like that. I just adopted 3 beehives because bees are very important to me. I'm going to adopt more beehives. You have, again, I have to go back to, you have options, you have possibility, you have opportunity when you decide to align to be in financial abundance. But, you know, you're going to stop, if you're not grateful and if you're not thankful, like really, truly from the heart, that will stop. But you can always reconnect. But you know, and I also want to point out something too, you know, just because if someone has a lot of money or does quite well financially, doesn't mean they don't have stresses, and doesn't mean they don't have worries, and doesn't mean they don't have issues or problems. It just looks different. Money is just not the problem.
Yeah.
Or a lack of money is not the problem.
Yeah, incredible. Well, so let's to wrap up. One thing that I want to share something, and Candace, I'd love for you to end with a share of, again, what can we do to activate this? Because again, I also think people are addicted to listening to a podcast or reading an article, and it's like, yeah, and it's like, but the work is outside of that. You can hear it, but then what are you doing with it? So one thing that comes to mind for me that I want to leave listeners with is, again, gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest frequencies that you can be in. And that's why you also attract. And because everyone, some people might combat you, Candace, by saying that the world is abundant. Like, no, it's not. Well, that's also your lens. Well, work on shifting that lens, because, again, what you notice increases. I noticed a blue car the other day, and now it's this funny thing with my friends. I told her about that. Now I start seeing blue cars everywhere. Now she's seeing blue cars everywhere. And it's like, it's just this thing, what we appreciate. So my invitation for everyone is to start every morning and or night, if you can do both, great, do a gratitude journal. And it could be write it on paper, say it out loud, record it. I mean, these things can take 2 seconds. Because again, if you're starting your day, the beginning of the first thing in the morning, last thing at night is one of the best times to reprogram your mind. And so take that. I mean, you don't need money to do that. Gratitude is free and endless and abundant to be able to tap into that, into a feel-good energy. That's what we're here to experience, is the aliveness of our feel-good energy, and let that move us. That's going to create more momentum in your life than you, again, thinking like, I don't have this thing. Go to what do I have right now? That's why some of the most, the homeless people in prison are like the most awakened people, because they realize with nothing, they can truly have everything inside, and start from there. Candace, if there's like 1 or 2 things that you would say to really, again, not just like you can hear the things, but how we really shift this stuff at a deeper level, what things would you share for us to do?
Action. Take action. Take action. Action's everything. Like, you can listen to all the things, you can read all the books, you can do all the stuff. Action. Writing it down. You have to do the work of it. The work is in the work. You have to do the work of it, right? So you want to shift, you have to shift. You want to change, you have to change. And that takes action. Action is everything. You don't have to fully understand everything, but if you get concepts or different ideas that maybe than you're used to, and be open to things and take action on those things will move very quickly.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to share is that, again, if you're having a stuckness around circulating money, investing in, like, I love that Candace, shared that with us, that the investment, everything's an investment. And I want you to think the next person that maybe you're at a store or you're at the restaurant, and again, there might be that urge, again, a past version of you that would be like, oh, but I can't because I don't have money, or, oh, I could pay for their coffee. Oh, no, maybe I shouldn't because I need to save. This word save is we could do a whole other thing, I know, with that. Maybe we will have you back, Candace, and sharing that. But, think about if that person's a version of you, if that person's you, would you want to pay them right now? Would you want to invest in them right now? And again, we get to change the narratives and stories of our mind of what's going to get you to do that act of kindness. Because if the past versions of you is not getting you to do it, what narrative is going to get you to do it? And so maybe the next time you're out and about, you notice that thing about like, oh, I want to do that. I want to pay for their coffee. And then you're like, no, again, you go into the lack mindset versus abundance, going, you know what? If they were me, would I want someone to pay for mine? Yeah. And then jump and just, again, I think Candace is so right. Jump. I think about a frog. Just jump and do it. All you got to do is survive. And then you know what? You're actually going to feel all that gratitude, because giving is such a joy. And that's only going to increase the momentum of your joy. It's so backwards.
I've never given, and I'm, you and I both do a lot of giving stuff. I've never given and regretted it. Never.
Yeah, talk about that. But then someone on their deathbed being like, I bet they would be like, I wish I would have given more. I wish I would have bought those coffees and those acts of kindness. Not
Mm,
going, I'm so glad I didn't
mm.
do that then and didn't do that then, didn't go on that trip, didn't buy that, that thing for my mom. Or it's the
And again,
opposite.
that's where action comes in. Action kills a lot of fear. Action kills fear.
Yeah.
So if you need to kill a lot of fear and you know that you're a fearful person and you know that, you have to strengthen the mind, and action really helps a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I do think we can do all the mindset stuff, but like you said, it's doing the action. So to wrap it up today, I want, and I would love for you all to reach out to me and Candace about what action are you or did you, again, be in the end. I've already even thinking like, I did this thing. Like already see yourself having done it and feeling good in it. Stop letting all the fear and worry about taking the action, but go at the end of it and go, I did that thing. It felt so good to do, and to circulate money, to invest in myself, another version of me. Get into that energy, get into your gratitude more. It's one of the most beautiful things that we can tap into. Again, it's free and abundant. And any final words, Candace, that you want to leave with us before we wrap up today?
I'm going to leave you with my favorite quote. I read it years ago. I still can't remember the book, but I have the book. And it was a simple quote, and it hit me so hard, and I still think about it to this day. It's very simple, and it's do the thing, have all the power.
Hmm. Do the thing, have all the power. So let's just sit with that for one moment. If you want to close your eyes and like breathe that in, because again, we're working on creating an identity that is, as much as it sounds sad to kill off old versions of us, again, we want to be more free and clear in the mind. How do we do that? We see things with a different lens. We're putting on a pair of different glasses or sunglasses, whatever you want it. And so take that in with you right now. And again, let's also sit with an action that you've been holding off on taking, been letting fear or worry not have you step into, and just see it in the mind right now, having done it, and let that expand, and being grateful. Get into the attitude of gratitude for having done that thing. And I intend that this leads you to taking action. Take that leap, jump, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Don't let the mind run you on it. You run the mind in this. And we're celebrating you all here today. If you felt something, felt a shift, share with us, and continue to be in this work to be who you're meant to be.